Your worst trigger is not your enemy. It is your mirror. And what it reflects is the part of yourself you have buried the deepest. Most adults spend their lives running from triggers. They never realize what triggers actually are. A trigger is not an attack from the outside world. It is a door opening from the inside. Behind that door lives a part of you that you have refused to meet. Carl Jung called this part of the psyche the shadow. It contains everything you have rejected. Not because those parts are evil, but because someone once told you they were unacceptable. So you hid them, you buried them, you built a polished version of yourself on top of them. And then a stranger said one sentence, and that very part started screaming. That scream is what you call a trigger, and tonight you will learn what to do with it. Most people respond to a trigger in one of two ways. They either lash out or shut down. Both reactions miss the entire point. Both reactions waste the gift the trigger is offering. Because every trigger is information. Every trigger is your unconscious trying to deliver a letter. The problem is, you have been refusing the mail for decades. You think the person triggering you is the problem. You think if they changed, you would be free. But Jung discovered something far more uncomfortable about this pattern. The person triggering you is not the cause of your reaction. They are the activator of your wound. The wound was already there, inside you, long before they ever appeared. They simply touched the bruise you forgot you had, and your nervous system did the rest. This is why two people can hear the exact same words and feel completely different things. One feels nothing, the other feels rage. The difference is the shadow, not the sentence. Stay with me here. This next part will explain something about yourself you have never been able to articulate. The shadow is not just your dark side. The shadow is everything that did not fit your persona. Your persona is the mask you wear in public, the version of you the world approves of. Everything that mask had to exclude got pushed into the shadow. The anger, the neediness, the arrogance. But also the brilliance, the desire, the hunger, the strangeness that scare the adults around you. So the shadow is not only what is dark, it is what is hidden, and those are not the same. When you get triggered, one of those hidden parts is trying to come back into the light. Picture this. You walk into a room. A coworker speaks in a slightly dismissive tone. Within seconds, your chest tightens. Your jaw locks. You want to disappear or destroy them. Most people would say the coworker caused this. Jung would say the coworker only opened the door. What walked through the door is the part of you that was once dismissed and never grieved. The trigger is not the wound. The trigger is the bell that announces the wound is still there. This is the part most modern therapy never addresses. The unconscious has its own intelligence. And it is not always working for you. Sometimes it is working to protect a wound that needs air. Now we arrive at the most important moment, the moment right after a trigger fires. Most people fill this moment with reaction, with defense, with story, with blame. But Jung taught his patients a different practice. He called it sitting with the material. The material is whatever rose up inside you when the trigger hit, the body sensation, the emotion, the image. If you can sit with the material for 60 seconds without doing anything, the shadow reveals itself. This is the gateway to integration, and almost no one walks through it. Comment below with a single word if you have ever noticed a trigger and felt curious instead of reactive. Just type, aware. Now let me show you the 5 signs you are being shadow triggered, not just emotionally annoyed. Sign 1. Your reaction is bigger than the situation deserves. Far bigger, disproportionate. A small comment lands like a slap. A small text creates a storm. The size is the signal. Sign 2. You feel a strange familiarity in the feeling, like you have felt this exact pain before. That familiarity is your psyche telling you the wound is old. The person today only echoed it. Sign 3. You cannot stop thinking about it. The moment loops in your mind for hours. Looping is not obsession. Looping is your unconscious trying to deliver a message you keep refusing. Sign 4. You judge the other person with intensity. You list everything wrong with them. That list is almost always a description of what you refuse to see in yourself. Sign 5. After the trigger fades, you feel ashamed, or empty, or strangely quiet. That quiet is the shadow withdrawing again. It came up for air, and you sent it back down. If any of those signs felt like yours, you are not broken. You are encountering what Jung called the personal shadow. And once you know how to meet it, every trigger becomes a doorway instead of a wound. What I'm about to share next is a practice Jung used with his patients that takes only 10 minutes. You can do it tonight. You can do it the next time someone activates you. The practice is called active recognition. It has 4 simple movements. Movement 1, the pause. The moment you feel triggered, do not act. Do not speak. Just place a hand on your chest. Breathe once. Tell yourself, something old just woke up. Movement 2, the location. Find where the trigger lives in your body. Throat, chest, stomach. The body holds the shadow. The mind only tells stories about it. Trust the body first. Movement 3, the question. Ask yourself one quiet sentence. What part of me is this touching? Do not answer with logic. Wait, the shadow does not speak in words. It speaks in images and memories. Movement 4, the acknowledgement. Whatever rises, you say one sentence to it. You say, I see you. You are allowed to be here. I am not abandoning you again. That sentence is the beginning of integration. It is the first time the shadow has been welcomed. Most adults have never said those words to themselves, not once in their entire life. That is why the same triggers keep returning. The shadow keeps knocking because no one ever answers. When you finally answer, something extraordinary happens. The charge begins to drain. The trigger still arrives, but it stops controlling you. It becomes a teacher instead of a tyrant. This is what Jung meant when he wrote that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light. He said you become whole by making the darkness conscious, by turning toward what you avoided. The shadow is not your enemy. It is the disowned half of your wholeness. And every trigger is your psyche begging you to bring that half home. There is one more thing you must understand before you try this practice tonight. The shadow does not want to be fixed. The shadow wants to be witnessed. Most people try to fight their triggers, or analyze them, or therapy them into silence. But the shadow responds to only one thing: presence. Quiet, patient, non-judgmental presence. The same kind of presence you would offer a frightened child, because in a way, that is what it is. A frightened part of you frozen at the age it was first rejected, waiting to be seen. When you meet it that way, integration is no longer a technique, it is a homecoming. And the next trigger that arrives will not feel like a disaster. It will feel like an invitation. You will recognize it. You will breathe. You will turn toward it instead of away. And in that single act, you will be doing what Jung called the most important work of a human life. The work to becoming whole, not perfect. So tonight before you sleep, do this. Recall one moment from today when you felt activated. Close your eyes. Find where it lives in your body. Place your hand there. Ask the question, what part of me is this touching? Wait for the image. Then say the sentence, I see you. You are allowed to be here. I am not abandoning you again. That is it. That is the practice. 10 minutes, done in silence, repeated when needed. Do this for 30 nights and your relationship with your own triggers will be unrecognizable. You will stop fearing your reactions. You will start learning from them. You will stop blaming the people who activate you. You will start thanking them quietly. Because they will have become unwitting messengers, delivering the parts of you that wanted to come home. This is the Jungian way, the slow turning toward the self, the patient meeting of the disowned. You are not your trigger. You are not your shadow. You are not the wound the trigger touches. You are the awareness that can hold all of it, the witness that can welcome all of it. That awareness is your true self, and every trigger is an invitation to remember it. Tonight, when something activates you, do not run, do not perform, do not collapse. Pause, locate, ask, acknowledge. 4 movements, 1 homecoming. Your shadow has been waiting for you for a very long time. Tonight, you can finally answer the door. If this opened something in you, subscribe to the Archetype code. Read the code, one hidden part of the psyche each week. And remember this, what you resist persists. What you face transforms. What you integrate becomes power. This is the work. This is the path. This is the Jungian way home.